right. Hello, True Heel Heat. I'm the AEW World Champion MJF. Just in case you're deaf, dumb, blind, stupid, or since you listen to this podcast poor, you're listening to True Heel Heat, and I apologize for that.
Yes, it is I, Holly Cameron, and I'm in your phones, but I'm also making an appearance for True Heel Heat. I've been told it's a fantastic podcast. Why haven't you had me on it, huh? Where's my invitation? I think you guys need to feel the right. I'm at Comic-Con today, but I think we need to get some, some rap in the show. So let me know.
Hello. It is me, your True Heel Phenom, SP3, and we are live on the True Heel Heat YouTube and Facebook for our AEW Dynasty 2026 preview. Breaking down this Sunday show from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, as AEW delivers its second pay-per-view event of the year. And of course, we're here to break it all down, give you our predictions for the card. And to do that, of course, as always, we got the best panel in the game when it comes to talking about the elite company. And first up, we got the person who joins me for every pay-per-view preview when it comes to WWE and AEW, the one and only coexisting, one and only Fightful overbooked alum and star, Maggie is here. How you doing, Maggie?
I'm doing pretty good. I love it how you still have Carlito on with the Judgment Day during, the intro. As a matter of fact, all the rest of the Judgment Day, It's
His
fun
group
how
is not the same.
it's not the same. I love it how every time you do the intro, and I've been like here for like more than a year now, and I'm like, every time I see something different, still have Cody Rhodes there. It pisses me off. But like that's a whole different conversation. I'm doing good. My boss, one of my bosses, I have three of them, not including Sean and Jimmy Van, by the way. So he's in Germany at a drum show because he's a drummer. And I'm looking after his cat. And by looking after, he gave me the keys to his apartment. And I, go and feed the cat, pet it if it allows me, because it's a cat. So
Cats are
today
different.
was cats are different. Today was the first day, that I officially had to go. I've done this previously, but it was a really really small kitty and it's like all over the place. But now it looks like it got depressed that the apartment's empty because his girlfriend is in Italy visiting her sister who just gave birth. So they're gone. Both of them are gone. So apparently the cat was depressed. So before work, I went over because like the apartment is 1 minute from my bar. And I I put food in her bowl, and I changed her toilet and put in water, and I'm like, where's the cat? And I searched for the cat for like 20 minutes and it wasn't there. And I'm like, I'm ready to phone my boss and ask him, are you sure you have a cat? Because like I don't see the cat and like apparently I got really, really, really depressed that no one's there. It's a rescue cat. It has one eye,
Oh,
and
okay.
everything. Yeah. It's really cute cat. I keep forgetting its name. That's the stupid thing. I keep forgetting his name, and because I don't know her name, and I'm like, hey cat, and it was behind the the sofa. It was so depressed, and like I was just about to give up when it went you know past me, and I'm like, okay, so you're here. So I took a video of the cat and I sent it to my boss, but she's and he asked me, did you pet her? And I'm like, as far as she let me, yes. Tomorrow I'll pet her more because like yeah. But
She needs that.
my day afterwards was all downhill from there because like it started with a cat, of course, and then one of my previous coworkers came in with her dog, so it's ups and downs. How are you guys doing?
We are doing well. And of course, we are also joined by the MC of the past, present, and future of New Japan Pro Wrestling here on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel and our AEW enthusiast as well, J-News. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling all right, man. It's been quite the week for those of us who are New Japan Pro Wrestling fans. They made way. They made way on Dynamite, and we were all very, very happy that they made way because that entire unit, they if they didn't pop a rating, man, they showed out at the end of the day because that Hanare and Akira and freaking Callum, man, they did the Lord's work on Wednesday because
Yes.
that last segment was, we'll talk about it when we get there. But at the end of the day, I feel like we're going in a cool direction into Dynasty and things of that nature. The build towards Dynasty so far, I've been okay with. It hasn't been the greatest thing in the world, but for all intents and purposes, it is an AEW pay-per-view. So I'm going to get hyped by the time Sunday comes because AEW just doesn't let anybody down at the end of the day when it comes to pay-per-views. So, yeah, man, we'll talk about it. We'll break it all down. And, yeah.
It's also a Sunday pay-per-view, so hooray for me.
What you're always happy about with that.
I'm the only one. I'm the only one.
Well, we appreciate y'all for joining us live. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Remember to show your appreciation back. The simplest way possible is by dropping a thumbs up on the video. You can also share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Heel Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. You can also sound off in the comment section. Let us know your predictions, your hot takes, your opinions on this Sunday's big card in Vancouver. And of course, if you're with us live, you want to be a part of the conversation, we'll try to highlight as many of your comments as possible. But of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to give back to what we do here, you could send a super chat donation. Any dollar amount matters. It goes back to the contributors that you see on screen with us here, and we always appreciate the support. We got a clown in the chat who says good morning, everyone. We got the one and only Zach Minger who says National Cinnamon Croissant. Is that supposed to be croissant or crescent? Crescent Day. SP3, J-News, and Maggie. We got also I Make Beats who says Mox and Osprey, two of his favorites. Let's go. We got Hassan who's ready for the AEW Dynasty preview. You got Jordan who says, we spoil you. Yes, we spoil you with plenty of content. We're going to have content every single day up until basically after WrestleMania here on the channel, because
my God,
wrestling doesn't let us sleep at all. We have Dynasty and TNA Rebellion this weekend. I did the preview for TNA Rebellion on Wednesday with Joel Pearl, so check that out if you haven't already. We also got I Make Beats who says the dub always brings it for the pay-per-views. That is definitely a truth. Jordan saying Dynasty, flame emoji, heart emoji, and all. We also got I Make Beats who says, if there isn't a woman's THH world champion, I vote Maggie. It's going to be Maggie and Chrissy in the main event of WrestleMania.
What do you mean women's? I will be overall.
This is true. This is true. We don't discriminate. We give the women a shot at the real world championship. You guys are the two best that we have here. So yeah, it would still be Maggie and Chrissy in the main event for the real world championship.
I mean, you're the boss, but like we're the
yeah. I'm just booking these matches. I'm just booking the matches. I'm not Triple H. I don't need the spotlight.
It's what you do. You can be on all the covers, but like you're not the champ.
Yeah. I don't need to be involved in a contract signing and do absolutely nothing. I Make Beat says Content King SP3. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. We also got Ryan.
It's you and Denise.
Hey, both of us born on May 18th. May 18th. Hardworking content creators.
Hey, people born in May, unite. Okay.
United we stand. Ryan Lambert says the AEW pay-per-view needs more Jeff Jarrett on it. I'm sure someone
just to
somewhere
piss me off?
likes this. Yes, it is.
It's just to piss me off. Okay. You for this statement should have been a super chat, by the way. If you're gonna rip me, just at least send SP3 some money. God damn it.
Appreciate it. Very much appreciated. But yes, we got a lot to get into with this card and with what's going on in AEW. But as always, with our pay-per-view previews, we want to know your hype level, your anticipation for this Sunday show in Vancouver. So we'll start with Maggie. From 0 to 10, how much are you looking forward to AEW Dynasty 2026?
I'm at a solid 8 right now, but I know how these things go. When Sunday comes, it'll become an 8.5 or 9 probably. It's always good when it's a Sunday pay-per-view for me. I know it sucks for everyone else because here's the thing: when I wake up on Monday to watch the show, it will probably be still going on, and I know that that's a huge problem for you guys when it comes to Sunday pay-per-views because you actually have jobs on Monday. I do too, but like it's it's in the evening. So yeah, the build hasn't been huge, but like we have been talking about matches for Double or Nothing on Dynamite right now. So I'm gonna leave the huge build for big pay-per-views for Double or Nothing because it is part of the big four, but it's like a lot of people say in the chat, it's an AEW pay-per-view, it's always gonna deliver. And I know how I was immensely overhyped for Revolution because it's my favorite pay-per-view for each and every year ever since AEW has existed. And it was fine, but it had a lot of, it had big shoes to fill when it comes to Revolution pay-per-views. For me, it didn't live up to the hype. Hopefully Dynasty does. We got Will Ospreay back. We have Kenny Omega in action. I mean, do I need to squeeze anything from the beginning of the prediction show? Or you guys know the drill? So,
hey, we know the drill. We know the drill. That's surprising. I thought Revolution was amazing. That's probably my show of the year so far.
It was good, but like I'm overhyped for Revolution. The problem is with me. Revolution was a solid pay-per-view. It was really good, but like I was way up there, man. It's ridiculous. It's my fault. It's my fault.
It's completely your fault. Your expectations
Yes.
are too high. You gotta
Yeah, I
set them
know.
low.
She was looking for an 11 out of 10, and it was just a 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
She's
exactly.
Yeah, it was just.
disappointed.
I mean, I'm a woman, and I always expect a lot. Okay,
That's the problem. That's the problem.
Yeah, that is the problem. My expectations are way up there because I am a female.
That's okay.
It's true.
You said it. We didn't say it. You said it.
I say it sarcastically. You guys agreeing is shit. Okay?
I didn't say it. I didn't say anything. That was him.
Hey, man.
I
I'll
know
take
better.
it.
I know better.
No.
I got missus at home. I know better.
Yeah, you're a married man. I'm not. So I'm out here living. I'm out here living dangerously, bro. You understand?
Oh, J-News, what about you? 0 to 10. How much you looking
man.
forward to Dynasty?
Like I was saying before, like the build hasn't been great and things of that nature, but everything's been solid. I'm at a solid 8 right now. By the time, like I said, by the time Sunday rolls around, I'll be at a freaking 10 because I know the pay-per-view is just gonna blow the freaking roof off the place. I'm a little worried, to be quite honest, not about the card, about the crowd. Since they've been in Canada the last 2 weeks, things haven't been, to use a colloquialism, they ain't been popping. You know what I'm saying? So that to me, it worries me, man, because this past Wednesday, I don't know if it comes across just differently in different parts of the world or even in the country and stuff like that, but like in Alberta, like that crowd was so uneven. And then in Winnipeg, the crowd was so uneven. And it's like, okay, they're going to be in Vancouver this weekend. We'll see, because Toronto is usually hot. So now they're going to be on the other side of the freaking country. And it's like, well, let's see. You know, it's kind of a wait and see thing for me now. And I'm hoping that the crowd lives up, because at the end of the day, all the in-ring stuff can be great. But if the crowd's not into it, then it's just gonna give, like, the fervor for the show is gonna dissipate. You know what I'm saying? So I want to see how Vancouver's gonna react to Dynasty and things of that nature. But like I said, the build has been solid. Unfortunate injuries have come about, so things have had to change. And you know, there's just a lot of things. We'll talk about specific builds for specific matches, but there's just been a lot of things that I've liked and that I haven't liked when it comes to certain builds. So it's like, it's just uneven right now, which is why it's like I'm at an 8 because it's AEW. I'm a fanboy at the end of the day when it comes to AEW, and then it's an AEW pay-per-view at the end of the day. So yeah, that all works out for me in that regard.
Yeah, unfortunate injuries, unfortunate people coming back. I mean,
what did you expect, Maggie? What did you expect?
You know what happens? You know what happens when you come back and all of a sudden you feed Ricochet. Okay, we're gonna talk about that when we get to it. Fucking
hey,
man.
we'll get to that very, very shortly here. I will be making it unanimous. I'm at like an 8 out of 10 as well. I agree with a lot of what y'all have said about the build, because we were coming off of the Revolution build, which was probably one of the best built pay-per-views that they've done in a while, that had a lot of established rivalries that were getting blown off on that show. The post-Revolution Dynasty, Dynamite is the real reason that I think that it's come off like uneven, where Dynamite has gotten better along this, in my opinion, along the road to Dynasty, because the Dynamite after Revolution was probably the weakest episode of Dynamite of the year.
Yeah.
And then the next week was better than that. And then the next week was better than that. And I thought they did a really good job this week to build up the show with some angles, some great matches, the closing segment to build up the pay-per-view main event. So I thought they did a solid job on the back end of building up Dynasty, whereas all of it, like in the beginning part, it was still catching up because they went down with their first episode coming out of Revolution. So I'm hoping for the best, and if it is an 8 out of 10 show, I think that's perfectly fine for Dynasty, which is kind of their tertiary shows. It's not one of their flagpole events like the Revolution, like Double or Nothing, like your All-Ins. It's more of like an add-on. It's kind of like similar to Wrestle Dream to me.
It's still 8 points higher than any Saturday night main event. So.
Yep, or any WWE pay-per-view for that matter. I don't remember the last time I gave
even
an 8
the
out.
Rumble.
I think the last time I gave an 8 out of 10 to a WWE PLE was Crown Jewel, mostly because of Cena versus Styles. That was the last time.
Cena versus Styles. I still to this day remember the Evolution pay-per-view, the all women's. Like that's
I think I gave that like an 8.5 or a 9
Yeah.
out of 10. Like that was that's been their best show for like the last year, and all the pay-per-view, all the PLEs this year have not been that good. And we'll talk more about WrestleMania next week. But
Do you have to? Do you have to?
We do have
it's
to.
an obligation. It's an
Yeah.
obligation.
It's the content god. So like
But yes, we got a super chat donation. You ask and you shall receive from Ryan Lambert. Thank you so much, Ryan, for the support. He says, longest AEW champ, Jeff Jarrett, belt up Brody King. There you go. Jarrett's gonna drop the title to Brody.
Yeah, one of these parts is true.
There we go.
One of.
Nicest way to say that. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Now let's get into the card. There's one match that has been announced. We'll probably get more matches announced for a 0 hour on Collision on Saturday, but for now we have one match announced for 0 hour, and it stems off of one of the big matches on the main card for the event. It's going to be the NJPW Strong Women's Champion Alex Windsor going one-on-one with the Death Riders Marina Shafir. This is a non-title matchup, but it stems off of the rivalry that's been going on between Will Ospreay and Jon Moxley and the Death Riders. Of course, it was Moxley and the Death Riders who took out Ospreay at Forbidden Door, and to have some backup against Marina Shafir, who has gotten involved a few times in the brawls between Ospreay and Moxley. It is Ospreay's missus, Alex Windsor, who's stepping up to the plate to face Marina Shafir. Shafir coming off of probably one of her best singles matches of her career last month against Timeless Toni Storm. Let's see what she could do here on 0 hour. Maggie, who do you think picks up the victory before the main card?
Well, if it's not for the championship, then Marina should win, right? If it was for the title, then Alex Windsor would have retained, and that's fine. But like, it's not for the title. And why would Alex Windsor win that match if it's not for the title? I'm so confused. And initially, I thought that, like, why did Marina Shafir lose to Mina Shirakawa on Dynamite?
I mean, it seemed like it was strictly to give Mina Shirakawa a title shot the following week.
Yeah, but like, you keep pushing Marina Shafir as this, ridiculous monster as a part of the Death Riders, and then she never wins at all.
Yeah.
I'm just, why? So I feel like for the very last time, because I'm growing really impatient here, for the last time I'm going to pick Marina Shafir, because this is ridiculous. She should, if it's not for the championship, why would she? I understand that there's no build towards, a championship, but since when did wrestling give a fuck about that? So I'm just...
Since when did Tony Khan give a hell about that?
Yeah, about, any of the women. I mean, Toni Storm's not there anymore, so neither is Mercedes Moné. So, like, it's a really uncomfortable situation right now. So I'm Marina. Like, I'm looking forward to the match. I mean, Marina Shafir, like we've talked about this on this very channel, Marina Shafir always looks way better in hardcore matches, anything goes matches, no DQ matches and anything. She did really good against Toni Storm, but it's Toni Storm and she's a ring general, so she can carry, a match. The match was good. I'm looking forward to this, seeing what it is, but I'm still gonna pick Marina Shafir. I don't know if this is gonna come back and bite me in the ass again. But I'm still sticking with Marina Shafir.
I'm gonna agree with you. I'm also gonna go with Marina Shafir here, just to hedge my bets, because I'm hoping for a different result from the result that I think is gonna happen in the opposite sex version of this matchup. J-News, who do you think wins? Alex Windsor versus Marina Shafir on 0 Hour.
Yeah, I'm not sure, man. This is one of those matches that got put together. I understand why it got put together. Don't get me wrong, but it was put together last minute. So for them to fill a match during the 0 hour, because we're not going to have any boom and doom during the 0 hour this time around. You know what I'm saying? So
Fuck yes, let's go!
Well, Big Boom doesn't do the tertiary shows. He doesn't do the second rate show. He's only here for the big ones. He's only here for the revolutions, the double or nothings, the full gears, and the all-ins. That's what he does.
We'll see. But I'm looking forward to the match because Alex is a hard hitter, and Marina always wants the girls to bring it at the end of the day. So I want to see how physical this match gets, and hopefully they get enough time to at least display how hard hitting their match can be. As for a results-oriented thing, Maggie's right. If it's not for the Strong Women's Championship, then I don't see a reason as to why Marina should lose the match. But New Japan, regardless of the fact of how down the totem pole the belt is always protective of their champions. So that's why it's like I don't necessarily know who wins here. And at the end of the day, it doesn't have to win. It doesn't have to end up cleanly anyways, right?
No.
So I feel like Marina walks out on her feet looking like $1 million, but maybe Alex gets, knocked out or something of that nature or whatever the case is, and she ends up winning the match via DQ or something. That's the way I see it in my head, just to protect the champion on some level, because then they're going to have to run that match back if Marina just wins cleanly at the end of the day.
Yeah. They could run it. They could run it back on Marina's never mind doing a show not AEW, so you could run it back on a New Japan show if anything.
I mean, if they're up for it, because I'm just not keen on to whether or not they'll put Marina on one of the New Japan shows and stuff. But if they're gonna be doing another New Japan in the USA show sometime soon, because that's where the strong women's title lands, then yeah. If they end up running it back, then yeah, I agree with.
Or an episode of TV, they could do it on.
They could do that.
AEW television.
Yeah. They have the spring breakthrough thing coming up too.
Yeah,
or whatever. Yeah. They want to run it back. So yeah, then that makes sense. Then Marina winning. I'm with you guys on that side. That'll make sense. She'll get the win over Alex, and it'll be for the title at another event. And then I guess they'll go 1-1 and have a third match blow off or whatever, and that'll happen. But I'm looking forward to see as to what it looks like stylistically for the match.
So, quick question before we get into the matches that have been announced for the main card. Do you think they're going to add any matches on Collision? Because this is an 8-match main card, and we all know Tony Khan can't help himself. I would say if you're going to add a matchup, me personally, it's got to be a women's matchup, because there's only one women's match on the main card.
Yeah, tag match.
Yeah, and I think they're going to set it up with they had a digital exclusive, which was Hikaru Shida making a tag team matchup with her and Chris Statlander on Collision, and I know they're probably going to win that because it's just them in action, so that means they're going to face some local talent. Maybe they do Shida and Statlander versus Divine Dominion.
Maybe that, I think that probably makes the most sense, because it's what's been spotlighted within the last 48 hours or so. I just saw that video of Shida and Stat in the back. It's been so weird since Stat lost the belt, with her not on TV and her only making these socials only videos and stuff like that. There was the one with Harley last week where she wouldn't tag with Harley. Now, Shida, she's reluctant to team with Shida. So that's a thing, right? Because Shida's out here lurking. I like that, by the way. We'll talk about that when we get to the Willow match. But at the end of the day, yeah, Maggie, I understand, but it also can lead to character evolution. So give it a chance, please.
Fucking when?
She just came back to TV, Maggie. She just came back to TV. Give it a chance.
Maggie sounded like Jimmy Baccaram yesterday. Jimmy Baccaram was like, "Why is Sheeta on my TV?" He's like, I've seen her use a heel turn 1,000 times.
Jesus Christ, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. But regardless of the fact, I feel like, yeah, I think the tag team championship match with the ladies, I think that the sit down that they had with Renee was interesting. Lena Cross was doing the majority of it in character. Megan wasn't, so that was interesting to see. But I want to see more of them as a tag team, see as to how they start to function better and how they work off each other more. And them versus Chris and Hikaru Shida makes sense, because then if Shida's going to turn heel, she can just drop Chris and let things marinate and happen and all that jazz from there. So it all winds up being story. So just pay attention to it at the end of the day.
Yeah. What do you think, Maggie?
I think he's gonna add a bunch of 10,000 matches just so it can become a normal AEW pay-per-view card. But yeah, it definitely should be a women's tag and a bunch more, to be added, to the 0 hour initially. But I don't know. I hated Cheetah coming back and immediately losing. I hated that. I understand that this can be built towards something big. I just have little to zero faith when it comes to the AEW women's booking. This has the potential to be. Because Sean's been pretty vocal about having Sheeta mob boss,
Right.
with her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I agree. And it should happen, because she was years ago, I feel like it was during the pandemic, she was walking around in a white suit, and I love that. She looked really good. And I'm like, let's go. We need that to happen. And then it disappeared into the nothingness. And I feel like this is something good that they need to work on. But if they're not going to do it and just tease us, or just, decide to drop it, I'm just going to be pissed off once again. And I don't have faith. That's it. I have total faith in Sheeta and everything, but it makes sense. Every time they start teasing it, it kind of makes sense. And if they end up doing it in a moment that has zero sense, and just for the sake of, doing it, I'm going to be a bit angry.
The women's booking for AEW has been, for lack of a better term, piss poor in 2026. And it hasn't been helped by the fact that Timeless Tony Storm is now going to be out of action for a while. So yeah, I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel at this point. The light at the end of the tunnel is doing this pretty much. That's the only thing that I think is going, they will do something with. That's the only person that I think he will do it.
Yeah, but that's the initial problem with wrestling companies as a whole, because this was a huge problem in WWE, and it's kind of still is. If you put all your eggs into one basket, that person eventually will take a break, get injured, or other stuff. So if you don't put over and elevate and build your other talent, what are you gonna do when all those injury bugs start going off? And it's. Yeah. It may not be injury. It might be just, a case of people just wanting to have time off, or, being benched, or for whatever fucking reason. So if you only put over Mercedes Moné and Toni Storm, you're going to end up in a situation like this right now. I love Thekla. But she should be doing way more. She should be on the show. She should be cursing. She should be calling other women bitches, and the way that she does. Yeah, but why
she should do it more on Dynamite?
I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing, right? But here's the deal. This is what we have. Right? Until it changes, this is what we have. right? That's why I was talking about the build to the show being so inconsistent. Because I agree. I want to see Thekla on Dynamite. I want to see Thekla not just on Collision. Like I shouldn't just have to wonder or just see Thekla doing freaking backstage promo segments or promos from the crowd, even though she's crazy good at what she does.
She is.
Like, there's more. And then the tag match that they have going on a Collision, where are Julia and Sky? Why is Thekla tagging with someone else? What's going on?
Well, that's a pay-per-view preview tag, so I don't mind that.
No,
that makes sense. It makes sense. It's the Brawling Birds versus the ladies they're facing at the pay-per-view. I don't have any problem with that. I think that's a minuscule problem. What are we talking about?
No.
That makes sense. That's not like most of the women's booking that doesn't make sense.
What does minuscule mean?
Small.
Oh,
very small.
You could have just said small. Every time on this show, you're just confusing the Eastern European chick using all these fancy words just to make me look bad.
No. Just taking it as a learning opportunity. If you don't know a word, we can teach
fucking
you a word.
forget it 2 minutes in.
Oh, jeez.
I love it. But yes, let's talk about the main card for Dynasty, and we're going to talk about your favorite person, everybody's favorite person, Chris Jericho, as he has returned to All Elite Wrestling, and he will be on the pay-per-view this Sunday in Canada. It will be Chris Jericho going one-on-one with Ricochet for the first time ever. These two men, this was all set up stemming off of Jericho's return on the April 1st edition of AEW Dynamite in his hometown of Winnipeg, Manitoba. He came back to AEW after a year away. This week on Dynamite, on the April 8th episode, he re-signed with AEW officially. He had the clipboard. He was about to sign his contract, and then Ricochet and GOA, the Demand, came out and interrupted. Ricochet took credit for the recent hot streak that AEW has been on, with the ratings being up, attendance being up, business being up, and he says it's all because of the man, Ricochet himself, which led to Jericho basically making fun of Ricochet for being bald. Then he said, he will rethink re-signing, and then he re-signed anyway. And then he says a part of the contract was that he can pick his opponent for Dynasty this Sunday, and he decided it was going to be Ricochet before letting him know that he just made the list. Can Chris Jericho maintain, because he got a great response from the fans in Edmonton, Alberta, can he continue on this babyface run and have a good performance here against Ricochet, or will Ricochet give Jericho a loss in his first match back in AEW? Maggie, what was your thoughts on Jericho returning, and who do you think wins on Sunday?
Why is Jericho here? Why am I watching Jericho in 2026 in AEW? He knew that if he went to WWE, which was, I'm sure that this was something that he wanted to do, they probably didn't want to let him do the Fozzy thing and the Jericho cruise and stuff, and they were probably gonna Gunther his ass, and he said nope. And he was like, yeah, okay. And he went back to AEW because apparently I cannot have nice things. So he came back. It was so fucking awkward. He waved at people. He got on the ropes. And I'm so pissed off because people were cheering. It's fucking Canada. Like, if there's one thing that the Canada sucks at is, being the land of Jericho. So like, it's the one thing that Canada sucks at, because I love Canada. So blame Canada for Jericho right now, because Jericho was one of my favorites during the Attitude Era. Not now. He was like, I'm so up for elevating talent. I'm here. I don't need to be on television. Why are you taking 20 minutes of the show then if you don't need to be on fucking television? I'm so pissed off. And he was like, you know what happened? You know what happens when you, I don't care. This is a bit from 10 years ago. And you're probably clinging onto it so fucking hard because this was at a time that he was a heel, but people were cheering for the gimmick because it was actually entertaining and funny and everything.
They popped
And
huge for
also-
it on Wednesday.
Yeah, one time. This is this is a part of the the nostalgia thing. I popped too, and I was like, oh no. What is
You
no.
smack yourself out of it. Like, what am I
Yeah,
doing?
just why am I popping for something that Chris Jericho was doing? And I'm like, oh yeah, this was a bit from fucking 10 years ago, and it was hilarious because Kevin Owens was a part of it also, and I just fucking miss Kevin Owens. This wasn't the Canadian I was expecting to come back. That's kind of disappointing to me, and yeah. The stupid thing is that Chris Jericho is going to win this match because he needs to elevate new talent. Is this, the price that Ricochet has to pay for the awful things that he did on Twitter? I kind of feel like he's paying way more than he should. I mean, he did a pretty awful thing. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty bad. But like Chris Jericho bad? Like, come on, it's not.
So
it's not.
if I'm gonna ask the question, I'm gonna ask the question. For those of you guys who don't know, yeah, I get on True Heel Heat and I do the podcast with SP3, having to do with New Japan and AEW. I have my own podcast with the lovely Dolores on Sundays and stuff like that during the Hit Throws podcast. But I am chronically offline. That means I'm not on Twitter every day. I'm not on Instagram every day. If I don't answer your DMs 5 days later, or whatever the case is, or whatever messages you send me, that's kind of the drill because I don't live online.
That's
I'm
good
scared
for you.
to ask, but I need to know what is it that
what
Ricochet did? Because I'm not aware.
Well, he said to a person online that he how should I phrase this? He was glad that person had MS.
Oh, we're still on the MS thing. Oh, all right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it was a stupid tweet.
I thought it was something else.
Yeah, he apologized for it. It was a stupid fucking tweet,
Yeah.
and he like in no way this even MJF isn't doing this. Like this, like he knows better than to do that. Or
Yeah, but
at
he's
least
calling
now.
the CEO of wrestling promotions a stupupid motherfucker. But hey,
I mean, that's fine. He
I
is
mean,
a stupid.
that's
I
fine.
mean, Carlos Silva is a stupid motherfucker
And like that's not making fun of someone's illness.
Sure.
with an
Okay.
illness. Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
apples,
that's-
oranges.
No, you know.
So I'm asking, why is Ricochet paying the Chris Jericho price for saying that fucking a month ago?
Because no one else wanted to work with Jericho. What about that?
And with a point, like
What
I
about
wonder fucking why.
What about that? What about that? I think that at the end of the day,
The vortex is back.
I mean, let's see. I'm not.
No, I don't want to see.
I get you. I'm not as up in arms because I got what I wanted. Jericho off of TV for a while, so I'm ready to see as to what he's able
5
to
more
bring this
minutes.
time around. He was gone for damn near a year, and there's that about it. And it's a wait and see thing with Jericho for me. But yeah, Jericho's gonna win this match. I don't see Ricochet winning here. The segments to build to this match, if anything, and I'm not used to, I'm prone to hating on certain things, but I will say this. Ricochet did not come off well during that segment. A lot of what he said was very corny. It didn't really hit. And I popped for the listing as well when Jericho said it, but the Ricochet end of it just didn't. Yeah, it didn't do anything for me at the end of the day. So we're here now. Jericho's gonna get his win here, and then we're gonna see as to where it goes with Jericho on AEW TV.
No one gets over when on the mic with Jericho, nor during matches. The stupid thing is because, oh my God, let's not pair him with Big Bill
Yeah, they won't. They won't.
yeah, because listen, the stupid thing is because they won't pair him. I hope they won't pair him with them again. He's gonna get over GOA and Ricochet. That's the stupid. He's gonna get one over on three people because they're so gonna get involved because they're the fucking heels in the story. And Chris Jericho is gonna be so. I'm already pissed off, man. Why is this the first match that we're talking about? Why is it?
This is
So we can get it out the way.
Yeah,
We
it's
can
probably
get it
going
out
to be
the
the first
way.
match on the card, anyways. If this match ends up in the middle of the card, I'm gonna be pissed off, man.
Oh, it's gonna die a slow death.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a slow death. You're better to get this out at the beginning than anything.
No, I feel like this is the pee break. Come on, the pee break.
They're
Not for
gonna
Canada,
stop
right?
you from
Not
thinking
for
that
Canada.
Tony just paid a pretty penny to bring back Chris Jericho, so
Yeah.
I don't see
Well,
that.
that's his own fault.
But one match that could also open the card, because you know this one is going to deliver, is a special tag team matchup, as we're going to have the Young Bucks going up against Kazuchika Okada and Konosuke Takeshita of the Don Callis family. Of course, the Young Bucks and Okada have their history together in the Elite, as well as being good friends in New Japan Pro Wrestling for years. This was supposed to be Proto-Okada versus the Young Bucks, according to Don Callis, but of course, Kyle Fletcher was injured. More on that in a bit when we get to the Casino Gauntlet. So Callis said that he wanted to put his Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen of the Don Callis family together. He said those two, Pippen and Jordan, did not get along, and neither does Okada and Takeshita, but the fans are going to have to wait to see them go at it. This past week on Dynamite, the Young Bucks made the save for Jack Perry when the Don Callis family jumped them. They were super kick party to everyone. They were about to give Takeshita the Meltzer driver when Okada came out and made the save. They were beating down on the Young Bucks until they just decided to get in each other's faces, started brawling with one another until the family separated them. That gave the Young Bucks and the Rascals the opportunity to get the upper hand on the family. And then backstage, Callis made this tag team match official. Takeshita said he did not want to work with Okada, but he would if he gets a shot at Okada's international championship. So Callis said if they're able to get the job done, then it will be Okada and Takeshita at Double or Nothing for the international championship. And Okada has to get the last word. So when they shook hands, he said that Takeshita is Scottie Pippen and he's Michael Jordan. So Okada and Takeshita are back together. They have a great history together of fantastic matches going back to last year. One of the best tag team matches of the year was Brodito versus Okada and Takeshita at Wrestle Dream. What's going to happen here in a non-title tag team matchup with the history between the Bucks and Okada, Takeshita and Okada? Who do you think wins here, Maggie?
This is the one match that I kind of feel like builds towards Double or Nothing even from now, because I'm gonna get it out of the way. I feel like the Young Bucks should win this match. Okada and Takeshita cost each other. You know, they're not gonna be on the same page. They will not be coexisting. Well, and they don't need the win because they already have a Double or Nothing match made. That's what I'm saying. And I feel like the Young Bucks are going for a triple threat match at Double or Nothing against Copeland, Christian, and FTR. Hopefully a TLC match. We're gonna see about that. But if the Young Bucks lose the match, then there's no reason for them to be a part of the tag team match at Double or Nothing, because like why would you reward losing up? I know it's wrestling and it doesn't make sense, but like for me it has to. So I'm gonna pick the Young Bucks here.
I don't know if I picked the first matchup, but I'm also going with Jericho for that one. But this one here, I do agree with you again. I think the Young Bucks do get the win. I think Okada and Takeshita can't get along. They can't stay on the same page. This should be a fantastic matchup because the Young Bucks have been in rare form. They're one of the best tag teams in the world, one of the best tag teams of all time. And Okada and Takeshita are two of the best wrestlers in the world. So this should be great. But the Young Bucks, I don't think we're doing the triple threat at Double or Nothing. The triple threat
Really?
feels like it's for All In. They're building that towards All In. I think that the
Oh,
Young
okay.
Bucks get the winner of FTR and Copeland Cage when we get to that. Whoever comes out of that matchup faces the Young Bucks at Double or Nothing. So yeah, I think the Bucks are gonna win because of that. J-News.
Yeah. They pivoted, and it's a good pivot. Much like Jordan from Canada said, it's a good pivot from the Kyle injury and stuff like that. They have dragged this Okada versus Takeshita match teasing for long enough at this point. So hopefully those of us going to Double or Nothing here in New York in May will enjoy that match of Takeshita going one-on-one versus Kazuchika Okada. Based off of this match, the Bucks should win here because it just, if we're talking about linear storytelling and booking sense, Copeland Christian, they beat FTR, they become champs or whatever the case is at Dynasty. FTR is going to be pissed off about that. The Bucks will get a shot at Copeland Christian. That won't end cleanly. FTR gets involved. They end up at a triple threat match at All In. It makes all the sense there, right? It writes itself. With this match, I'm sure that Takeshita and Okada won't get along. We'll see some good graps as usual because, like SP3 said, the Young Bucks are one of the greatest tag teams of all time, not just of the current iteration, but of all time. So they'll put a great match together here, and we'll see some good storytelling inside the ring and outside of the ring. So that's going to be a fun match nonetheless. So but the Bucks will win this match.
So we're unanimous on that fact there. Then we got another kind of seemingly number one contenders matchup, as it's going to be Andrade El Idolo of the Don Callis family. He will be going one-on-one with Darby Allin. The Don Callis family were paid by MJF to take care of his Darby Allin problem, as Darby Allin, after winning his coffin match against Gabe Kidd and closing the lid on his rivalry with the Dogs, he turned his attention to the AEW World Championship. He said that he is not taking his hands off the throttle until he sees that AEW World title or death, and he doesn't see death coming for a long time for him. So he challenged MJF. This led to the Don Callis family getting a briefcase full of money. They attacked Darby after his win against Roosh a couple of weeks ago, laying him out with Andrade a little bit upset about working with MJF, as Andrade has his sights on the AEW World Championship. And then 2 weeks ago on Dynamite, you had Darby in the ring. Don Callis family came out. Callis announced that it's going to be Darby versus his handpicked member of the Don Callis family, and if Darby wins, he gets a shot at the AEW World Championship from MJF. He chose Andrade, who was quite surprised at that fact. Darby got some help from Jack Perry and Brody King to fight off the Callis family, and Kenny Omega came face to face with Darby and said that he is willing to honor this stipulation as well, regardless of if he wins the AEW World Championship. So can Darby Allin earn his opportunity, or will Andrade get one step closer to an AEW World title matchup, as Callis teased on this week's Dynamite? Who's going to pick up the victory here, Maggie?
Darby Allin's gonna win, isn't he? I just realized how fucking horrible this pay-per-view is. Chris Jericho and Darby Allin winning. I fucking hate it here. Like, why is it? This sucks. I'm just like, Andrade has been so great ever since his final return to AEW. He's been doing. Look, why are you feeding him to Darby Allin? Why are you doing this? Just fucking stop it. And it's so annoying because we all know that Darby Allin keeps saying to Tony Khan that he doesn't want a belt here. And then in this week's, backstage promo, he was like, I can't escape the belt. Try fucking harder, sweetie. Go away from the belt. Far away from the belt. Why are we doing this? Darby Allin wins. I'm going to puke. Let's move on.
I love having Maggie here. She's the best. J-News. Who do you got? Darby Allin or Andrade El Idolo?
I am looking forward to this match, to be quite honest. Just for the fact that it's Darby versus Andrade. I am one of the few, and I think this is true across the board. I'm one of the few people that seems to like Darby Allin.
Seems
so at the end of the day, I feel like this is going to be a tremendous match. It doesn't have to be one of Darby's usual, crash test dummy antic matches. It could just be him wrestling, and he's a really good pro wrestler at the end of the day. He just doesn't get to show it off enough. And Andrade's been fantastic. I agree with what Maggie was saying. Andrade's been fantastic. He's been superb, terrific, whatever superlative you want to use. He's been that. I need for Andrade to stop taking these losses, but this is what he's here for right now, right? Because the story, yes, Maggie, I know it's unfortunate. Acceptance, it's hard. I know, but this is where we are. And Darby's story is to try to get to the championship. I'm not saying he's going to win it, but in order for Darby to continue his story, Darby has to win here. Obviously, the main event has to go a specific way in order for Darby to get to where he needs to get to story-wise, right?
We were doing so great. Mel Coleman kissed Andrade in the crowd. We all popped for that immensely. And now why is he losing?
I don't know. Anybody got an idea on the Jack lady who took the selfie with Andrade during Dynamite? Because that lady was jacked at the end of the day.
That was Mel Coleman. She's the artist. She's the artist. She's the artist that does all the Don Callis paintings.
Jeez Louise, that lady's jacked. Anyway.
She's on Amazon. Yeah.
Jack, bro. But yeah, this match is going to be incredible, I think, and it might be my sleeper pick match of the night and whatnot. But as for the result, Darby's winning. That's where it's gonna go. That's where it needs to go for all intents and purposes. I don't know how Andrade gets back on the ball after this match with the losses that he's been picking up as of late.
Exactly.
So, unless they pivot him to another storyline, because it seems that he's not appreciating Don Callis's random picking of him for certain matches without telling him. So that might, it rubs him the wrong way. Obviously, he has this connection with the United Empire. Will asked him online, "Hey, where were you at the end of the day?" So that's something that they can draw from. And Andrade wants a match versus Will Ospreay, and I think that match right there, man, that would be fantastic on the way to Allin if we got Andrade versus Will Ospreay. But yeah,
give me that in the Owen. Give me that in the Owen.
There you go. There you go. That's a good.
I expect this match to be great because regardless of I'm not like Maggie or a lot of people that seem to hate Darby or not like Darby. I think Darby is one of the best TV wrestlers in the game today. Like, you give him 10-15 minutes on an episode of Dynamite, 9 times out of 10 he's gonna have the best matchup. He had an excellent trios matchup this past Wednesday on Dynamite against the Don Callis family with Jack Perry and Bandito. He had that great matchup with Roosh a couple of weeks ago, the no count out matchup, and he's going against one of the best wrestlers in the world today in Andrade. I have no doubt that's going to deliver. And these guys have delivered in the past during Andrade's first run in AEW. One of my favorite backstage segments of all time is relax, take it easy, from Andrade working with Darby Allin, and they had a great coffin match as well. So I expect this one to be one of the best matches on the show. And you know what? I'm hoping AEW subverts our expectations. And I'm going to go with Andrade El Idolo.
I love
Andrade wins because it seems so obvious that Darby is winning this one that I just want them to subvert our expectations with at least one of these results and have Andrade get the win.
You're forgetting about TK's huge ass boner for Darby all the time.
I wanted to ask you this because a lot of people have talked about, like, Tony Khan loves Darby Allin, and a lot of people believe there's a loud minority, I won't say a majority, but a loud minority of fans who believe that Darby Allin will become the AEW World Champion. They believe that he's going to be the one that dethrones MJF.
That seems to be the way it's going. If
I hope not. I am a Darby fan, but that should not happen. There are only two people who should dethrone MJF at this point, and it is Kenny by God Omega and Will Ospreay. Those are the only two I'm willing to accept.
Right. I hear you, and I'm not disagreeing with you. But if we're taking it from the aspect of the AEW originals, a guy who literally waves the flag for the company everywhere he goes, and you just said he's one of TK's favorite guys. You know, it just, for me, it makes sense. Not that it's gonna be great, but for me, in the lore of everything, in the sense of everything, who likes who, in the pecking order, yeah. It just makes sense for Darby to be AEW champion at some point between 2026 and 2027. And the reality of it all is he's got to beat Max to do it. He can't beat anyone else.
I don't think he needs to.
He needs to beat Max.
I don't think he needs to beat
Max. He needs to beat Max. It's not going to count for much of anything else if he doesn't beat Max.
This is just like this. I'm sorry. Like, I love I'm going to repeat this. I love Darby Allin. I think that he is one of the original faces of AEW, and it's a guy that waves the flag and is loyal to the company. But you cannot see the business going up the way it's been over the last couple of months. And the major reason for that is two guys. It's the guys in the main event. It's MJF and it's Kenny Omega. And you can't see a Wembley coming up with Will Ospreay in the main event and see him as like that third guy that can help continue this hot streak, and then just throw a huge bucket of cold water on the hot streak by just trying to slide in and shove in Darby Allin, who is not, I wouldn't even say he's top 5 in responsible for the recent hot streak. This makes no sense.
I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I'm just saying Tony Khan's a stubborn bastard, and he likes what he likes at the end of the day. And I see Darby being champ, and it doesn't have to be a long reign either. He can be a transitional guy and stuff like that. I just feel like it's gonna happen, guys. I just feel like it's gonna happen. That's all I'm saying.
I think I have acid reflux from that. But it's like I know what J-News is saying, and it does make sense. I don't need to agree with it, but it does make sense. I hate it, and I am going to be throwing out my television if that ever happens. Well, not ever, right now at least. Come on, guys. It's Wembley. They're going back to Wembley. Give it to Will Ospreay. Jesus.
He doesn't have, all I'm saying is he doesn't have to win it at Wembley. I said sometime in 2026 or 2027. But he's got, for me, in my mind,
2027 2027, I have no problem. I have no problem. This is not the argument that I'm having. I'm
Let's not
having
say that.
the person who dethrones MJF. I don't agree with that. I don't think that it
Listen, man,
needs to
to
be
me,
it needs to be Darby, because everybody and their mama, including Tony Khan, was okay with Darby dethroning Jon Moxley. So it doesn't have to be MJF.
Ah, man, I just don't think it'll. I don't think it'll land if it's not Max. I don't think it'll land.
I don't think it's gonna land. Period.
Yeah.
You missed the peak. I agree with King
listen.
Ray. You already missed the peak with Darby.
He missed the peak on a lot of people. Let's be clear. This is a Tony Khan problem. But at the end of the day, if Darby's going to be champ at some point, yeah, it's going to be a surprise. Nonetheless, it's going to be one of those wins where it's like, oh, no one expected Darby to win, and he's going to win, right? But to me, it has to be against, one of those AEW lifer guys. It's got to be a Mox, or it's got to be Max, because of the whole heel face dynamic of it all and whatnot. So that's just my point of view of it.
It could be Kyle Fletcher after he comes back.
Got it. It ain't gonna be no Kyle Fletcher.
It ain't gonna
be Kyle Fletcher. You gotta be kidding me.
Hey, I prefer that over Max right now. There's only two people that can beat Maxwell Jacob Freeman. It is Kenny by God Omega and Will Ospreay.
Like Dion saying, Darby is a transitional champion at best. Absolutely. I just said that. He's a transitional guy. I'm not saying it's got to be a big deal, but it's going to happen is what I'm saying.
You just transition it right back to MJF, I guess. But we got speaking of Kyle Fletcher, he is injured. He's going to be out of action with an apparent meniscus injury, which means that we need to crown a new AEW TNT champion, and that will happen this Sunday in Vancouver as the Casino Gauntlet makes its return to All Elite Wrestling, as we're going to have a Casino Gauntlet for the first time since Full Gear last year, as it's going to be as many competitors as possible. We know for sure that Tommaso Ciampa is the #1 entrant into the Casino Gauntlet. If you don't want a spoiler for Collision, I would pause it and then just press live in about 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. #2 entrant is Roosh. So those are the only people that we know in this matchup, Ciampa and Roosh. So who do you think is going to win the Casino Gauntlet? Who will become the new AEW TNT champion? Before you give the prediction, what's your thoughts on Kyle Fletcher being out reportedly for months? Tony Khan gave the good news that he will be back before the end of 2026, but he will be out for a significant amount of time. Maggie, what do you think?
Well, according to Don Callis, he's lying in the hospital,
he's lying on his deathbed.
In the eye. Yeah, staring death in the eye. And I'm like, it's a meniscus injury, dude. Like, just grow the fuck up. I hated that this happened to Kyle Fletcher because he was doing so much media with Sky Blue and he was so great with the championship. And it's Kyle Fletcher. I feel like he's the future of AEW for me. He is. So whoever wins this match, I think that it's gonna be kind of fair if it is someone from the Don Callis family. And come to think of it, just give the title to Mark Davis. Just give the championship to Mark Davis. Just give it to him. He's been so great. I mean, if it's not Kyle, then let it be Mark Davis. He can run with it. He can have magnificent matches. He can show off, because I kind of feel like he hasn't been showing off a lot. I mean, he's been knocked down every time that he got up in AEW, every time. So just give him the championship. And it's going to be cool if it's still in the Don Callis family. But when it comes to the Casino Gauntlet, you guys know the drill. Let's go Keith Lee. I want Keith Lee back. Every time that we're talking about, a certain surprise when it comes to AEW, I just want my king back. That is it. I don't know if we're getting Jay White back. I don't know if we're getting if Swerve Strickland is on the show.
No.
Oh, he
No.
will.
You think he
Oh,
will be involved in this show, but
He probably
not
will
here.
be.
Definitely not
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. But yes, hopefully Keithy. I know it's not gonna happen, but like still fingers crossed. And if he does end up coming back, let's just go ahead and give him the championship.
All right, J-News, who you going with in the Casino Gauntlet?
So just to comment on Kyle's injury, I believe on a media call either yesterday or something that Tony said during an interview. Yesterday, he has high hopes that Kyle will be back by All In. So there's that. At the end of the day, so meniscus injuries they can take anywhere between 3 to 6 months to heal from. I from what I was made aware of in regards to Kyle's injury, it's not just his meniscus though. So he's dealing with something else as well. So I'm not too sure as to what's going on there. But hopefully he gets back by All In. So get well soon for Kyle, as we all think and know is Kyle's the future of AEW and he's the future AEW champion. So only on the way up for him. As per this match, oh man, I immediately thought when they made the Ciampa versus who did Ciampa take on Wednesday?
Dorada.
So he went up against Dorada. I felt like this particular gauntlet match should be full of former TNT champions. That was like a thought that just creeped into my head. I'm going to be completely wrong at the end of the day, and don't worry about that. But I felt like they have enough guys who are on the mend and can't come back, who have been AEW TNT champions, who can fill that gauntlet matchup. But I feel like this is Ciampa's match to lose, really. Being as to how they hot-shotted him to that particular title when he first got there. The amazing stories he's able to tell in the amazing matches that he has in the ring, the TNT championship being that workhorse title that it is for AEW. But at the same time, Maggie's shout about Mark Davis is not a bad idea because they need a big boy title. And why not convert the TNT championship to the big boy title for a little bit of for a while? You know what I'm saying? So it can be Mark Davis versus whoever's on the card. Brian Cage on his way back, Wardlow on his way back, Lance Archer for all intents and purposes because he's around. And, I know they're DCF guys, but hey, why not? You know what I'm saying? The competition is allowed in the Don Callis family, is it not? So there's that about it. I wouldn't be mad if Dunkzilla got the chance to be TNT champion. That would be a cool thing to see. But I feel like they're going to put the belt back on Ciampa, and he's going to continue to, weave and build these stories that he knows how to do in a very unique fashion. And he'll continue to have great matches. So that's my pick. I think Ciampa wins this match.
I think Ciampa should be considered a favorite, especially being the number one entrant. I just think that Mark Briscoe is coming back and he's going to stop him from doing that. So then it begs the question, who Mark Davis is a great shout. He's been one of the more consistent and dependable in-ring performers in AEW. But I'm going to go, it's Canada. I'm going to go with Speedball Mike Bailey. Bailey has been on a roll in singles competition, and I think that there's a certain result that's happening on Collision that attests to one of our current trios champions winning some gold at Dynasty. So Kevin Knight is a good shot. I see a couple of people saying that in the chat. I do expect Kyle O'Reilly probably making his comeback in the Casino Gauntlet as well, because he teased coming back, and it is his hometown of Vancouver, and I would love to see Kyle O'Reilly back, especially with the hot streak he was on before his injury. So There's a couple of decent names out there that can win it. You could see Kyle O'Reilly coming back and getting the win in his first match back. But yeah, I'm going to go with Speedball because I feel like they would have went to the Speedball Kyle Fletcher rematch, the third match between them, sooner rather than later. So I might as well give him the title. And then if Fletcher's going to be back by All In, run that third matchup for the TNT title at All In.
Please.
So here's a question for you guys, and I wonder how you feel, because I feel like this has been happening a bit too often. If for example, if it happens, like SP3 says, where Mike Bailey wins the TNT Gauntlet match, right? We're gonna have another guy who's gonna be a double champion, and they're gonna have a singles belt tied up.
You didn't listen to what I said. I said there's a certain result on Collision that attests to me going with this pick.
Okay, fair enough. All right, I wasn't aware. Yeah. First of all, when that match got made, and for all intents and purposes, I said to myself, "This is interesting," and I was like, I don't know if they'll do it here or not." But hey, thanks. Anyways,
hey, WWE has said in the past, if you spoil a title change, more people will watch. So please watch Collision if you are a fan of a certain former New Japan group.
Yeah, so there's that, and for all intents and purposes, I'm not going to be mad as to whoever becomes TNT champion. Like I said, it's the workhorse championship of the company. Whoever holds it should be able to have fantastic matches week in and week out on TV. And as long as they choose someone who's able to be on TV every week and not have visa issues or injury issues and things, or attitude issues. I'm looking at you, Roosh. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. That's why I'm gonna go with the safe pick of Ciampa here at the end of the day. That's why I'm.
That's right. That's a good option. These are all good options, guys. Regardless of y'all Speedball haters in the chat, y'all not gonna tell me that Speedball is not a great professional wrestler who can have great matches with the TNT title. You don't like Speedball. There's a difference between you not liking somebody and saying that he's a bad wrestler. He's not a bad wrestler. He's a great wrestler who's had great matches. So I think that he's a perfect option to be the TNT champion.
I agree.
But let's go over to another title match on the card for the AEW Women's World Championship. It will be Thekla defending against Jamie Hayter. Back last year when Thekla made her debut in AEW, it was by taking out the former AEW Women's World Champion Jamie Hayter, taking her out, and she was sidelined for months. Then Jamie made her return and eventually defeated Thekla in her first loss in AEW back at Wrestle Dream 2025. Jamie Hayter has been on a roll with Alex Windsor in the tag team competition with the Brawling Birds, undefeated in 2-on-2 action. And then recently it was Hayter teaming up with Windsor as well as Mina Shirakawa, who picked up a victory against Thekla and the Sisters of Sin, Triangle of Madness. And then Hayter issued the challenge to Thekla for a Women's World Championship opportunity, which Thekla accepted. Thekla says that she is ready to bring the war and to teach Hayter of the reason why she attacked her in the first place, because we are living in the era of the Toxic Spider. So who's going to get the victory here? Their matchup at last year's Wrestle Dream was great. A really strong matchup on that card. And I expect this one to be just as hard-hitting and physically intense as that one. Maggie, what have you thought about the rivalry that's been going on between these two women since Thekla's debut, and who do you think wins on Sunday?
I love that this is going back to the initial Thekla debut storyline that they had. I'm going to go ahead and pick Thekla here because I see the Brawling Birds competing for the Women's Tag Team Championships at All In. And please, let's just put a stop to the women's double champions, because that's obviously doesn't work, and it can work if you book it well, but they don't book it well. So let's just fucking stop it with that. So Thekla retaining. We just had Willow, and Willow was I'm sure that she was perfectly fine putting in the work, but they just didn't have time for her. or anything. So Thekla retaining here. I'm looking forward to this match because I know it's going to be a slapper. It's for now the only women's match on the main card. We don't, count, the 0 hour. So might as well do it, make it a slapper.
Yeah, I agree with you there. J-News, who you got?
This is another one of these matches, man, where the build to me has been, at least for this one specifically, it's been lopsided, right? Thekla's been doing the majority of the talking work. Haven't really heard much from Jamie, right? Because Jamie, they've been concentrating and focusing on Jamie and Alex being a tag team. I love the Brawling Birds. Like Maggie said, I hope that they become AEW Women's Tag Team Champions at one point. But for this particular pay-per-view, they're both having separate singles matches. And I feel like it's an easy call here to say that Thekla's going to retain, right? As to who dethrones her, I know a lot of folks in the chat feel it's going to be Mercedes and things of that nature. Sure, I guess. How do we get there, right? Is really more or less the point. How do we get to that match is more or less the thing, because someone's got to be the babyface here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you babyface the CEO?
Yeah, like at the end of the day, Mercedes hasn't necessarily worked out as a babyface. But if you want to go the non-traditional route and you have two heels going at it, I'm okay with that. It's just, how do you get there, right? How do you carve that path out for Thekla and Mercedes? But this match is gonna bang, much like Maggie was saying. It's gonna be a banger match. Also, I feel like Willow deserves a match on the pay-per-view with the amount of work that she's put in. So, keep on the whole open challenge thing, right? I think that's a vehicle for AEW to use, like they did when Cody held the TNT Championship all those years ago, where random people who were not signed to contracts would walk into an AEW show and challenge for a title shot, right? Seems like there's a couple
Danny Luna.
That's right, my friend. That's exactly where I was going. That's exactly where I was going. So, if they want to do that even if that happens during the 0 hour, bro, like I'm all for it. As long as Willow gets a spot on the show, that's what I'm for. I wanted to bring that up here, because Maggie brought up the point that this is the Thekla versus Jamie Hayter match is the only women's match on the proper pay-per-view. So even if they wanted to do that, where if they allow time for Willow to come out and say she's just ready to fight, because you know how Willow is, she's always wanting to fight, and bring out a Danny Luna or someone who's been on the shelf for a while, and things of that nature. If they wanted to do that, that's definitely, because they did it with Aminata, they did it with Shida. So depending as to whoever is ready to come back, they could do it with that. Or if AEW does end up signing a Danny Luna, that would be great. So just wanted to put that out there. For all intents and purposes. But the Thekla versus Jamie Hayter match should slap, and folks are we're gonna hear some loud thuds during that match.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. And like Thekla has been one of the best signings for AEW over the past year. And like I agree with King Potato. I've been saying it for months now. Thekla has been the best character since Timeless Tony Storm in the women's division as well. So I need this reign to continue on. So I'm gonna go with Thekla here. I think Jamie's gonna have her time, and it's gonna be alongside Windsor, probably at All In London. That's where they win the tag team championships there. As far as who's next for Thekla, I mean, it just depends on who they want to have in that position. They can tell the story with Harley going after the AEW Women's World Championship, because she's now kind of lost without Willow Nightingale, and Chris Statlander has already said she's not willing to train her to be a singles competitor. So you could tell a story with her being out on her own, and maybe Thekla and the Sisters of Sin try to take advantage of that, and Harley fights back, and you can have a matchup there. Of course, there's the issues between Thekla and Queen Aminata that can always re-spark up now that Queen Aminata was back, and she had a great performance against Willow. And I wouldn't mind an Athena getting coming up to the AEW roster, because please, dear Lord, let her just lose this title in Survival of the Fittest coming up as Supercard of Honor, because I need Athena on AEW television.
Everyone does.
I
Everyone does.
need her, and I would love for her and Thekla to go at it. They seem like they can have that kind of beat the crap out of each other type matchup as well.
So the
Yeah.
survival of the fittest match for ROH, is that more or less like a gauntlet match, or is it another way that they're
No,
stipulating?
it's a 6-way elimination basically.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Then we got for the AEW World Tag Team Championships, it's going to be FTR defending against Cage and Cope, Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. You got AEW Revolution, FTR and the Young Bucks put on another instant classic with FTR retaining the AEW World Tag Team Championships. And then Cage and Cope made their return for the first time since All Out 2025 at that event in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. It was Cage and Cope who defeated FTR, but post-match, FTR got the final word as they laid out Christian Cage with a spike power driver and then dropped Copeland's wife, Beth Copeland, right on her head with a spike power driver as well. Cage and Cope have come back looking for revenge. They got a measure of revenge at Revolution, but the match was made on the following Dynamite that it would be at Dynasty. Cage and Cope challenging FTR for the World Tag Team titles. They've been on the warpath ever since. Cage and Cope with steel chairs looking for FTR. They laid out RPG Vice in their locker room. Then they went after FTR on Collision, laying out security, giving them a concerto. Then this week on Dynamite, Christian Cage said that he banged FTR's moms because Christian Cage has always been the best part of this tag team. And then this led to FTR and RPG Vice doing a 5-on-2 beatdown along with Stokely Hathaway, who not only speared Christian Cage, hit him with a title belt, and then stole his watch before FTR pulmonized Cage's arm. So with the injury to Christian, as well as everything that's gone on over the last 6-7 months between these two teams, who's going to walk out of Vancouver the AEW World Tag Team Champions? J-News, we'll start with you this time. Who do you think wins, and what have you thought about the build to this match?
I think that the build has been presented the only way that they know how to do it. And to encompass all that, this is probably the most WWE build match I've seen on AEW TV in quite some time. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, because it works, and it has worked at the end of the day. So for all intents and purposes, the result of this, I feel like Cope and Christian win here. They win in Canada. Remember, they're from Canada. They're going to be in Canada for this pay-per-view. So the hometown team wins, even with Christian having a busted arm. I'm sure if we haven't gotten it already, I don't think Cope and Christian haven't had a match yet since they've come back, right? So this will be their first match back. They'll eventually have a match, a tag match versus Roppongi Vice as well, because they were the ones who, instigated the arm breaking there in between. And then we'll end up with with the Bucks versus Cope and Christian at Double or Nothing. And then at All In, it should be, for me in my head, the way that it makes sense, it'll be a 3-way match between FTR, Cope and Christian, and the Bucks. So that makes the most sense to me. And yeah, that's where I'm at. And it should be a classic tag team match for all intents and purposes. Two of the, I never gave Cope and Christian their just due back in their day when they were a tag team, but they were great for all intents. FTR is great. And so I don't think that we're going to get a shitty match out of this. But I will say this. What the fuck? Stokely Hathaway giving people spears on TV. What in 2026?
Hey,
what?
It looked good. It looked good. It looked good too. He did the flip and everything, like he was Moose, his former client. But I think you are right. I think that Cope and Christian are going to win the AEW World Tag Team Championships. I thought their matchup at All Out was good, not great. This one I expect because I have enjoyed the build up to this matchup, especially the stuff on Wednesday with Christian saying he's banging FTR's mom because Christian being an asshole and trying to hit Renee Paquette with a steel chair and just still being him, but still getting cheered. I was like, my new agenda is Christian Cage for babyface of the year, best babyface in the business, because he has not changed at all. He's like a hilarious version of Roman Reigns who's getting cheered for still being the same asshole that he was when he was a heel. This is great stuff. I need more of it. So I need Christian to become AEW World Tag Team Champion. Cope can be there too. Maggie, who do you got here? What have you thought about the build?
Yeah, the build's fine, but this is practically the thing that I was thinking. Christian Cage for tag team champion. Cope can be just lurking. Listen. The only thing I care about in this entire situation is that Christian Cage is legitimately a motherfucker. So I don't. I'm not looking forward to the match as much, but I do feel like Cope and Christian win the championships. I would like to be on the record to say that I've said this before, that I hate the flippy thing after the spear. I hate it. Moose does it, Bobby Lashley does it. Just fucking stop it. I don't think it looks good. You all love it, that's fine because you get to see it, but I'm a fan of the classic spear without the flippy thing. Stokely did make it look good.
Stokely did it the best.
Stokely did make it look good, I'm not gonna lie. But Cope Christian and hometown heroes, hopefully they win.
Oh, we got Roberto in the chat who says, after refusing to watch AEW for 7 years and tuning into it weekly now, I can say I love AEW. Best North American wrestling promotion. So we got a new AEW fan in the chat. Thanks for joining us.
What made you start watching?
That's a good
question. That's a better way to pose the question, Maggie, because I had a question in mind and it wasn't posed that way. But yes.
So yes, Roberto, let us know in the chat what made you start watching AEW. We would love to know. But yes, let's go to the top 2 matches on the card. This one was just made a title match on last week's Collision. You have Jon Moxley defending the AEW Continental Championship against Will Ospreay. At AEW Revolution, Moxley retained the Continental title against Konosuke Takeshita in an excellent match. Post-match, he shook hands with Takeshita. He was about to dip out, but then a video played, a anime-esque video of Will Ospreay being re-energized, reborn, and returning to AEW. He went right after Jon Moxley, tried to drop him on his head with a Tiger Driver. Moxley was saved by the Death Riders, which Will Ospreay took him 2.5 seconds to start doing crazy stuff with a broken neck as he did a big dive off the top rope, looking for revenge on not just Moxley, but the rest of the Death Riders after they broke his neck in his home country of England back at AEW Forbidden Door after the lights out steel cage match in front of his family and friends. Ever since then, Ospreay has been hell-bent on revenge, saying that he wants to break Jon Moxley's neck with his bare fucking hands. This led to a matchup with Pac 2 weeks ago on Dynamite where Ospreay picked up the win, but then post-match, Moxley and the Death Riders jumped Ospreay, laying him out. They did not stomp his neck in with the steel chair this time, as Moxley told him this isn't personal to him. This is just business. He asked Ospreay, what was he thinking going into a lights out steel cage matchup with someone like the Death Riders, with someone like Jon Moxley? He got what he signed up for. And this is not personal to him, but it is very personal to Will Ospreay, who let his United Empire brethren know that he's been having trouble at work being jumped by the Death Riders, which led to this past Wednesday's Dynamite where Callum Newman, the new and youngest IWGP heavyweight champion, led the new version version of United Empire, along with Honore and Francisco Akira, along with Will Ospreay's missus, Alex Windsor, in a full-on brawl with the Death Riders that kicked off the show. And then later on in the night, it was the United Empire who defeated the Death Riders in a Chaos in Canada 8-man tag team matchup, with Ospreay pinning Moxley by driving him through a table with the hidden blade. Now this sets the stage for the Continental title match. It was last week on Collision after Moxley won an eliminator against Anthony Bowens. Ospreay attacked him and then explained he wanted to up the ante for their Dynasty matchup, which was originally a grudge match, and he wanted to make it for the AEW Continental Championship because the thing he likes the most is that no one is at ringside. It's one-on-one, and he can do a lot of damage in 20 minutes. So can Ospreay take the richest prize to the Death Riders, the Continental Championship, and finally drop Jon Moxley on his damn head? Maggie, what have you thought about the build to this matchup, and who walks out the Continental Champion?
It's a match including Will Ospreay. I feel like that says a lot about my wetness levels. So like when we're talking come on, you know it was coming.
I knew it was coming.
You know it was coming.
Did I, Maggie? Did I? Okay.
It's I'm still trying to get over Hikaru Shida coming back and losing, immediately. Let's not do that with Will Ospreay. Let's just not do that. Because initially the match wasn't for the championship. And I'm like, why? Because if you follow his logic, because Moxley took away something that mattered the most to Will, and that's the ability to wrestle. And then when Will came back, Mox's championship might as well be the thing that matters to him the most. And why wasn't the championship a part of the deal even from the very beginning? So now that they have the championship there on the line, and I'm like, okay, so that makes sense to me now. Will Ospreay better win, which is weird because I want Will Ospreay to be main eventing Allin at Wembley. And I don't know how this goes. Does he win the Continental Championship? And somehow I don't know. It's just it's weird. If he wins the championship, I don't want him to be a double champion, because we all know let's just stop doing that. Even though if there's a double champion, it might as well be Will Ospreay because it's Will Ospreay. But he's freshly off of an injury, so let's just not do that to him. Which means that if he's a Continental Champion, this means that he needs to lose it at some point, and somehow makes sense for him to main event at Wembley. I don't know. This can be a time limit draw, but if they keep doing that to Moxley with that championship, it's gonna piss me off because they did the same thing with Takeshita. I keep thinking that Will Ospreay somehow wins the Owen, and that's how he gets to Allin. But I'm not really good at planning ahead when it comes to AEW. WWE makes it's easy because it's stupid. But when it comes to AEW, that's I'm kidding, of course, but not really. When it comes to AEW, it's a totally different situation. So I'm not good at planning ahead when it comes to AEW storylines. So in my head, Will Ospreay needs to win this match. I don't know how else to phrase this. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think that this is one of the strongest built matches on the card. I would say this probably had the best build to the show because of what happened on Wednesday. Shout outs to United Empire. You know, me and J-News, we cover New Japan Pro Wrestling here on the channel, and I had the privilege of chatting with Hanare in an interview with Jeremy Lambert for Fightful Overbooked and In the Weeds, and we spent the hour with him. We told him at first it was going to be like a 20-minute interview, and we wound up talking for an hour. And he told us he was like, he could tell how passionate we are about like wrestling and New Japan. So it was a lot of fun chatting with him, and we got to talk about like the whole rivalry going on between Osprey and Moxley. I just fear, because of how Wednesday went with Osprey pinning Moxley, that this is setting up for Moxley to win at the pay-per-view. And I think that's the worst decision ever. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. So like my head is telling me the best you could do is a time limit draw. That's the best you could do. But my heart is telling me, please, dear God, will Osprey win? So I'm going to go with my heart on this one, because my heart has the UK flag on it. I'm going with Will Ospreay here, but I dread the fact that I am wrong and Jon Moxley will retain on Sunday. We do have an answer from Roberto, who said, my closest friends got into AEW. I was disappointed about AEW because of their 2 years knocking off WWE week after week with no solid identity. Mostly my friends kept shoving AEW down my throat. So eventually he loved it, I guess.
Yeah.
Give us vegetables long enough, we'll start to eat it. Yes, one of us. One of us. J-News, what have you thought about the build to this matchup? Who do you think wins on Sunday?
Also, I give a shout out to the boys from the United Empire, man, because I popped for that. I got a text message from one of my boys. He was watching Dynamite before I ended up watching it that night, and he was like, I bet you popped for the United Empire. And I was like, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I was like, and I knew we would not see Okan and Jake Lee. Thank God for that. So anyways, there's that of it. But anyways, I'm fucking around, man. But it is what it is. I thought it was great how they opened the show and stuff like that coming out of the car. The misses came out
so good.
First. It was so good, man. The face off and everything else in between them in the match was great. But this match, I'm going with, I forgot who said it in the chat, though, that story build of if this ends up being a draw here, and then if it does end up being Will and Mox in the finals of the Owen, and Will wins there and doesn't have to win the Continental Championship to do it, and just wins the Owen, and the Owen gives him the win to go to All In, that makes storyline sense. He gets his win over Mox. Mox doesn't have to lose the Continental Championship, and everything is everything at the end of the day. So I feel like that would be a good way to make that story work. But the only problem I have with it is that we're going to have two back-to-back Mox feuds do the same thing, where the time limit draw leads to another match at the end of it, right? It's not going to have to be, it's not the exact same kind of match, right? It's not going to be a no time limit match like Mox had with Takeshita, but they still have to run it back. So I think that
they're basically doing mirror stuff with their titles, where the AEW Trios Championships are mirroring the booking of the never openweight 6-man tag team titles in New Japan, and I think the mirroring of the AEW Continental Championship is going to mirror the NJPW World Television Championship booking, where most of those matches end in a time limit draw.
Yeah. So I think that this ends in a time limit draw. We'll have all out faction warfare after the bell rings for a little bit. And for me on TV, we'll start to see the cracks within the ranks of the United Empire between New Japan shows, what happens on AEW TV. That'll end up happening and peaking at Forbidden Door. And then, that'll also be used as a way for Will to use it as motivation going into the Owen and yada, 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 yada. So, it all works in hand. So I think that at the end of the day, this ends up in a draw, and eventually we'll get to Will But who won the Owen last year? Didn't Will win the Owen last year? Or am I
No,
wrong?
he went to the finals.
Went to the
Hangman
finals.
did.
Went to the finals.
Hangman won. There you go. So there you go. Yeah. So Will wins the Owen this time around, and he'll go to All In.
I would rather Will win the Continental Championship here, lose it before the Owen, and then the Owen final that I wanted, that I predicted last year after All In Texas, is Will versus Swerve. That's what I want to see. Will versus Swerve in the final.
I feel you, but at the end of the day, there's different places they can go, right? I feel
if Moxley is still the Continental Champion, it makes no sense for him to be in the Owen.
Well, it's a different tournament, right? So
but it just doesn't make too much sense because he should be focused on that.
Oh yeah,
that he
because
already
wrestling
has.
makes sense.
Yeah, that's also true.
Exactly. And mind you, what I was gonna say was that it doesn't Mox versus Will doesn't even have to be the finals of the Owen. At the end of the day, they could face off in the first round for all we care, and Will win that match just to get the win over Mox and whatnot. We can get totally different finals, like you were saying. We can get Swerve versus Osprey, or like freaking Andrade was insinuating online, we can get an Andrade versus Osprey match. That would be gold to me at the end of the day, right? To keep everybody in line in that world title picture, type of thing. Sure. So, they can go different ways with it, but I feel like Will winning the Owen seems like the most, like the best thing to do from a storyline perspective.
Yeah, I think that's happening. I don't even think it is the thing that's to do.
But me saying that because I don't feel like Mox is gonna beat Will here at Dynasty. They'll draw it at the end of the day.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And then finally, for the AEW World Championship, it will be Maxwell Jacob Freeman, MJF, the Devil, defending against the God of Pro Wrestling, Kenny by God Omega. These two men have met in the past, back in 2023, when MJF set the record as the longest reigning AEW World Champion of all time. He did it by beating the previous holder of that record, Kenny Omega. But that was an Omega who was only at 70%, going on to be out for over a year after that. Then you had Kenny Omega, who had put his name back into the hat at the beginning of the year for the AEW World Championship. He had a series of battles with Swerve Strickland, which led to the March 25th edition of AEW Dynamite, where it was Swerve versus Omega, number one contendership versus EVP title, where Omega won to become the number one contender. He immediately confronted MJF and challenged him to the main event of Dynasty, which MJF accepted. During their contract signing the week following, MJF brought up Kenny Omega's health with the diverticulitis, saying that he is one bad move, one bad match away from his whole rib cage exploding due to all the intestines that was taken out of his gut, and that MJF would exploit that and prove him to be a false idol instead of the God of pro wrestling. Omega almost snapped and was about to attack MJF to ruin this matchup until Speedball Mike Bailey got in between them. This past week on Dynamite, Kenny Omega explained why he was so upset, because of what MJF represents and how it's so different to what he represents, and that MJF can never do what he can do in the middle of the ring, and he's here to make AEW whole again by winning the AEW World Championship. MJF said that that's not going to happen, and that he is not better than Omega's not better than him in 2026. Omega got the last laugh with a V trigger and took the Dynamite Diamond ring and posed over MJF. But who will end the night on top, standing tall as the AEW World Champion this Sunday in Vancouver? Maggie, what have you thought about the build to this matchup, and who do you think wins in what should be a match of the year candidate?
It absolutely should be match of the year candidate. Right now it is to me. It's Kenny Omega and it's MJF. I love the build. I love the fact that somehow every time when it comes to an MJF match, everyone skips over the fact that MJF is probably, in his generation, one of the best in-ring competitors. And it's easy to forget that because he runs his mouth so much. and somehow every time he gets in the ring, it's so good. It's astonishing because Kenny Omega does it himself. I mean, he did say that, he yaps a lot. He doesn't deliver in the ring, and I'm like, he does actually, sweetie. He's not, what did you say he is? I adore Kenny Omega. I don't think he's winning, though. I hope he does, because I selfishly want to see Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay at Allin. That's what I want to see, and Will Ospreay beating Kenny Omega. I know, and I really want to see that happening. I don't think it is happening, though. I really don't. I don't know what this means for Kenny. I don't know what this means for his future, his all-in plans, double or nothing plans. I sincerely have no idea. In my head, Swerve should come back and cost Kenny Omega the match. I don't know. But for me, it just, something keeps clicking in my head that it's that the Kenny will not be winning the AEW Championship again in his time in AEW. I don't know. I don't know what you guys think, but I'm really nervous because I will be cheering for Kenny Omega throughout the entirety of the match. I'm a Kenny Omega girly. I adore the guy. He's my all-time favorite. That's why I need to see Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay one more time at the grandest stage of them all, at Wembley. But then again, this is a win-win situation for me, because if Kenny Omega wins, I win too. If Kenny Omega loses, then I'm right, because I predict MJF.
Hedge your bet.
So it's just, I don't know what you guys think, but at the end of the day, I have to hop off this lovely channel because I have to get ready for my own show in 4 minutes. Thank you guys so much for having me. It's always a blast to hang with.
Give you the spotlight. Do your plugs.
Oh boy, I hate this. Every time Rob has problems with StreamYard and he leaves, I get left on the huge screen, and it doesn't trigger my anxiety whatsoever. Thank you guys so much for inviting me in. I adore this. I adore this channel. I adore SP3, and I adore JPEG. Thank you, sweetie, for agreeing with me so much this week. It rarely happens in my memory, but my memory sucks. Thank you guys. You can follow me on Twix, Twitter, whatever, at Maggie_IK, and on Instagram at Maggie.IK. I love hanging out with you guys in the chat. I adore the True Heel Heat community, and that's why I keep coming back, because it's the best. You know what else is the best? Fightful Select. You can go ahead and subscribe to Fightful Select on Patreon, and also you can join me in about when this show is done, hop on Fightful Overbooked for Coexisting with Rob and Maggie. In about 4 minutes, we start. Thank you guys again so much for having me on. I'll see you next week with SP3,
Yes. Next Thursday, we're doing our WWE WrestleMania preview, so be on the lookout for that. But thank you as always, Maggie. We will miss you.
Love you guys.
Bye. J-News, you're next up. What have you thought about the build to this matchup? MJF and Kenny Omega, and who do you think wins on Sunday?
For what it's worth, I've liked the build, right? I just had a problem with Dynamite on Wednesday. And the only problem is that Kenny's segment was too long, right? I didn't have a problem with what he said and how he said it. It's how long it went for. It was just too long-winded. Could have gotten to certain points much faster and things of that nature. But outside of that, I think this has been well handled, well done between Kenny and MJF. Physicality, non-physicality, the promos and stuff like that. Kenny is a good promo, giving him time and content and whatnot. It just can't go on for that long and whatnot. This is the same criticism we have about Max. Max is great on the mic, But Max be blabbing sometimes. It's like, brother, wrap it up, B. You know what I'm saying?
I honestly thought that Omega was the better of the two on the mic on Wednesday.
On Wednesday?
Which is something I never say. I thought that was one of Kenny Omega's best babyface promos in AEW.
I don't, like I said, I don't disagree with you. I just thought it went on for too long. That was my only gripe with it at the end of the day. So with that being said, like Dion said, like Maggie said, Swerve's hating ass is gonna come out during this match and cost Kenny, right? Because we need an avenue for Kenny to go down, right? If he's not gonna be AEW World Champion, and he won't be AEW, I feel like, I'll say this in general, I feel like Kenny Omega will be AEW champion again before he retires. I feel that, but for right now, I don't think he's gonna be AEW champion in the year of 2026. So I think he loses to Max here. It won't be a clean win for Max. Swerve will get involved, and then we'll walk into Swerve Kenny 2-3. I forget which match it's going to be.
3.
3. Come Double or Nothing, and then Max's next competitor is going to be Darby at the end of the day. So there's that of it. So the match should be, like you said, match of the year contender and whatnot. I wonder what the structure of the match will be. Will this be a 25 to 30 minute, heat check, or will this be a 60-minute Broadway? Because they can do both at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see as to what the format of the match is going to be and how they're going to structure it. But I feel it's been an incredible story on the microphone and on TV, but I feel it's going to be an even more incredible story in the ring. Sans the shenanigans that'll wrap up the match at the end of the day. There's been, I don't know if I don't know if you read this or anything like that or whatever. I've seen headlines online and on the YouTube space where they're saying that there's going to be multiple either re-debuts of talents or debuts of talents on the show overall of Dynasty. I'm not too sure about that, to be quite honest.
I think that's more or less the expectation.
Is it?
I can see because of what happened at Revolution. I think that's why. That's why that would be an expectation or murmurs or rumors about that. I think for sure Mercedes Moné is coming back.
Yeah, because
she's in Canada. She's been in Canada since the Jody Threat matchup. Yeah, since the Jody Threat match. So I think that she will definitely come back on this show. How they bring her back, I don't know what they're gonna do with her to do that, but I think that she'll definitely come back on this show. I've been saying it for weeks, and I'm probably the only one who still thinks it's gonna happen. I want Britt Baker back. Like, this is the time to bring her back into the fold with no Tony Storm around. She's a star that has been established that can come back at this point. So I would personally like to see that. We already talked about like the Kyle O'Reillys of the world. It would be 1 year to basically the day that Jay White was officially out of action. So I wouldn't mind if he came back into play. But as far as this matchup goes, I think that this if it's like 30 minutes or so, this is going to be a bona fide match of the year candidate and one of the greatest AEW pay-per-view main events of all time. And I said that about the Texas Death Match at Revolution, but Kenny Omega has been in his bag this year. I think he's already had a match of the year candidate with Swerve Strickland in their first match in February. Max has had one with Hangman Adam Page, and he has had nothing but great matches throughout this whole entire title run. And these two, and the thing with Kenny Omega is he is the best match layout of anyone in professional wrestling today. So he just knows how to pace, to gives the ebbs and flows, to escalate the drama, the emotion, the storytelling. No one does it better than Kenny Omega in the game. And Max just knows how to get the crowd invested into the action. He's done it time and time again, regardless of if it's a 4-hour, 5-hour AEW pay-per-view and he comes at the end, the crowd gets up on their feet, they get invested invested into the action. So these are the best two guys to headline the show, especially with it being in Vancouver, with it being in Canada. I would not mind at all Kenny Omega getting the win, because there is an argument that Kenny Omega has been the top draw, considering that the second match with Swerve got the highest viewership of any segment of AEW this year. Nearly 900,000 people watched that matchup alone. So he is up there in regards to who you think is like the main reason for this hot streak in AEW. But I don't know how you take the title off of Max right now. He is hot as hell. He feels like a Wrestler of the Year candidate. He is the greatest AEW World Champion of all time, thanks to his longest reign ever in 2023. And then this run has been even better than that one in a lot of ways, because of how he's elevated talent, how he's always delivered when the lights are on brightest. So I'm gonna say MJF gets the victory here, but I'm gonna say it's due to nefarious means. I think that you do the Darby matchup not on the next pay-per-view. You do it on television. You do it on one of those weeks leading into Double or Nothing, and you have Kenny Omega say, I'm willing to put everything on the line, and you do Kenny versus Max 3 at Double or Nothing, title versus career. And then I think would be Omega getting the win.
Nah, I think that's a bit much, man. But hey, I respect it, bro.
No,
I respect it.
It's the trilogy of stakes. You had Hangman. You had Hangman put his world title future on the line at Revolution. Then 2 weeks later, you had Omega put his EVP title on the line for the number one contendership. And then you take the two guys that won those matches and you raise the stakes to the highest thing possible, title versus career at Double or Nothing. And that's how you sell out Louis Armstrong Stadium.
Sure. I mean, I'll be there live, so regardless of the fact that it'll be cool for me nonetheless. It's a wrestling packed week for me that week. I'll be attending the Sugaban show as well. So there's that. But I'll say, look, man, yes, MJF will win by nefarious means, either his own or interference by Swerve, as I think a lot of us feel like that's going to happen. I think a lot of us want to see Kenny versus Will be the championship match at All In instead of Will versus Max at the end of the day. So whatever way we can get there, sure. I'm okay with that. I'm definitely okay with that being the result. It being Kenny versus Max at Double or Nothing again. Wouldn't it have to, I mean, yeah, he could put his career on the line, you're saying?
Yeah.
Would it have to be a stip match outside of
No, I think just the stakes. It's just the stakes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair. Fair. All right. Yeah, that works.
We got here in the chat, Fist saying, yeah, and also I didn't even take into account that. Yeah, it would make sense to do that since Max already called out that Kenny Omega's on a ticking clock. That's been a lot of his verbiage in the last few weeks, that because of the medical issues, Kenny Omega's career is on a ticking clock, and he wants to be the one responsible for putting it away.
Yeah, shout out to Tony Khan for allowing Doc Samson to cut a promo on TV.
That was hilarious.
That was refreshing, by the way.
That was refreshing. And Fitz saying, what are the odds of a three-way happens at All In? Ospreay versus MJF versus Omega? I wouldn't mind it, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would mind it. But at the end of the day, I don't think it'll go down that way myself either. So yeah, man. Listen, like I said, I'm at a good 8. I think the show's gonna bang. We're gonna get extra matches added to the show before or during the Collision taping on Saturday. Like I said, I feel like Willow needs a match for herself on the show. The women's tag team titles, they need a match because, by God, why would you leave those two beautiful Amazons off of TV at the end of the day? and yeah, man, and storyline wise, it's like there's so many things that they can do during the show, post show, and carry it on. It's AEW so strong right now, man, when it comes to where they can go, right? Because it's not all of it is predictable, but at the same time, they've got a lot of moving pieces, but in a good way, right? It's not necessarily in shambles right now, which is a positive for me. So
yeah, looking forward to the show. And of course, me and J-News will be back on Monday to review AEW Dynasty. Will be joined by John Escudero of Dirt Sheet Radio, so be on the lookout for that. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here, because we got a busy week ahead. I'll be back with y'all tomorrow, 10:05 a.m. Eastern Time, the True Hill Heat flagship podcast, to talk about this week in wrestling. We also are going to have a TNA Rebellion review on Sunday as well. And J-News, always appreciate you, good brother, for joining us for the AEW previews. The floor is yours. Let the people know where they can follow you on social media and when they shall see you again.
Yeah, you can follow me on the Twitter machine over on social media at John LYFNMG, over on Instagram at _JONJY. Check me out on the Hit the Ropes podcast, coming back this Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with me and the lovely Dolores. I'll be back here on True Heel Heat come Monday, as SP3 said, to do the review for AEW's Dynasty pay-per-view. I think me and SP3 have to get together to do a preview for Wrestling Dontaku when it comes up for New Japan Pro Wrestling within the next week or two. And just keep an eye out for everything that happens here on True Heel Heat, along with SP3 and the rest of the gang. Shout out to the rest of the gang. If I haven't spoken to y'all in a while, or whatever the case is, happy belated birthday to Romeo and all that jazz. So I just want to put that out there.
Love that. I'm sure. But yes, you can follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at True Hill Heat. Check out all the great content we got on the channel, including later on today at about 7:05 p.m. Eastern Time. We got our latest interview, our first interview in over a year here on the channel. Exclusive interview for True Heels BTR, Between the Ropes, as I sat down and chatted with one of the best independent wrestlers in the world, including Matt Cardona's favorite independent wrestler, Big Trouble, Ben Bishop. We discussed his career. We discussed the shout out from Matt Cardona on the Cody Rhodes podcast, his recent WWE tryout and WrestleMania week as well. So check that out here on the channel. If you want to check out some stuff that's already on the channel and you like pay-per-view previews, check out our TNA Rebellion 2026 preview. Also, if you like AEW, check out AE Ramble from yesterday with me and Jimmy Macaram reviewing the Go Home show ahead of Dynasty. And patreon.com/True Hill Heat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content like GOAT Match Series with us, me and Jimmy, watching Will Ospreay versus Hiromu Takahashi from NJPW Wrestle Kingdom 14 in 2020. That is up on the channel on the Patreon right now. Like I said before, I'll be back tomorrow, 10:05 a.m. Eastern Time, with the True Hill Heat flagship podcast. Myself, Miss Chrissy Love, and the True Draw Josh. Before J-News, it is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. This has been our AEW Dynasty 2026 preview. We are signing off until next time.